Georgia
Are we
Bulldogs
live?
presents the
Yeah, I know. I don't know what we got going on here. Hey guys, Chris Hall here with you as we're getting ready for the University of Georgia taking on Mississippi State. Oh, you were watching the Alabama game. Okay, so you were not ready to give me the heads up. So we've got all kind of monitors here in our studio going on. What is it now? Is it did Alabama take the lead? They did. Alabama currently leading over Ole Miss. Kind of interesting. Let's run over some scores here from the SEC. We'll do that right quick. As okay, it's 20. Is it 24-24? Alabama and Ole Miss. Florida is taking out South Carolina 31-7. LSU beat Arkansas today 13-10. So LSU, I guess if Alabama beats Ole Miss, then LSU is the SEC Western Division champion, right? So LSU did win today, 13-10 over Arkansas, and go Vanderbilt. Did they just score? Did Alabama score? No. Okay. Sorry, we're trying to watch the game and do this too. Kentucky. Let's see. Vanderbilt beat Kentucky. Go Vanderbilt. 24-21. In Lexington. So how about Vanderbilt? And Missouri kind of hung with Tennessee for a while, but they couldn't stay there completely, and eventually they lost to Tennessee. So it's good to have you guys with us. We're going to jump in here before the game begins, and then we're going to be here at halftime as well, and then we'll be here after the game. So a big game today, obviously. Georgia taking on Mississippi State. Speaking of clinching, obviously, if Georgia wins the game today against Mississippi State, Georgia will clinch another SEC Eastern Division title. What is that? We don't want that one, do we? Who do we have here? We have Barry checking in with us. Barry says, go Dogs. We're with you. Bama is eliminated. Yeah, Bama is eliminated from contention. Not only in the SEC, but in the college football playoffs. I think Clemson is winning. Let's can you get that score right quick? The Clemson score. We've got a lot of moving parts here. Michigan is winning pretty handily. Alabama now is up 27-24 on Ole Miss. Clemson is beating Louisville 24-10. Penn State won today. North Carolina State won today. Central Florida won. Ohio State won big, 56-14 over Indiana. Tennessee took out Missouri 66-24. Again, it was LSU beating Arkansas. Notre Dame beat Navy 35-32. Navy always plays Notre Dame tough. Purdue beat Illinois. Okay. And Vanderbilt beat Kentucky today. So, go Commodores. My second most favorite team is Vanderbilt. Okay, so if you guys want to jump in here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Georgia as we get ready for the kickoff at 7:00. Frank Barker jumps in. Go Dogs. Absolutely. Lisa Armstrong with us as well. Go Dogs. Clemson beating the Louisville Cardinals today. Let's talk a little bit about this Georgia game coming up. Georgia is favored in this game by 16 points. From what we understand, we have a correspondent on the ground in Starkville. In fact, I called him to try to get him on the air with us, and he says, I can't hear a thing. So it must be kind of loud. Yeah, it must be kind of loud there. But Georgia is favored by 16 points, and we understand there is a large contingent of Georgia fans in the stands at Starkville, and it's cold. It's kind of cool. I don't know what the game time temperature is, but it's cool. Now, here in South Georgia, where we are, I mean, it was coolish, but, it wasn't that cold today. But apparently it's pretty cold in Starkville, Mississippi. Hey, Miss Lisa, how are you? From St. Augustine, Florida. Oh, and our good friend from the Philippines is joining us as well. We have a dog contingent in the Philippines, and we love to have that young lady check in with us all the time. 37 degrees, 37 degrees in Starkville, and it will only get colder. I don't think it's drizzly or rainy or anything like that, but it is colder. What is it now? 27, 24, Alabama. We're watching our monitor as well. So Georgia is favored by 16 points. Again, this is a true road game. This is the third true road game for the University of Georgia this season. Now, you might remember the last road game that Georgia had was in Missouri, and Missouri was gave Georgia fits in that game. But we're looking for Georgia to take care of business tonight without all that drama. We don't want any drama. Just go get them dogs and get with it. Frank Barber wants to know about the wind. I don't think the wind's going to be an issue. I think it's just cool after that hurricane thing or whatever it was, tropical depression came through. I think things kind of turned a little bit for cooler temperatures. Barry Watkins, all of a sudden, Ole Miss can't move the ball. That's true. And Alabama's defense is kind of stiffened up. Let's see what we got here. Outsiders E, what is my score prediction? We predicted it earlier, 34-14. Our prediction is Georgia winning this game tonight, 34-14. By the way, we're still in the afterglow of that Tennessee game, but that's for us fans. That's not for the team. For Georgia, they have moved on, turned the page. Kirby Smart has a 24-hour, or is it a 48-hour thing where you can celebrate the last game and then it's over with. It's time to move on and play the next game. And so Georgia knows it's going to be a challenge tonight. Anytime you go on the road in the SEC, it's a challenge. Mississippi State, of course, Mike Leach is the coach for Mississippi State. He's quite a character. I mean, he and Lane Kiffin are on my list of favorite coaches. A lot of people don't like them. And but I love these guys. And Mike Leach, he gave, some wedding advice to one of the commentators. That was hilarious. But let's see. Frank wants to know, is AD playing? No, he is not. I say that he is not. He was probable before the game, but not likely. So you probably won't see AD Mitchell out on the field tonight for Georgia. We had we had the things. Yeah, Robert Beal may play. He had a stinger. He's probable. They say that. These guys are probable. It all depends on really for a lot of these guys how they feel after they go through pregame warmups. Do they feel good? Do everything is everything in feeling all right? Do they feel like they can go physically fit and ready to roll? And so we'll wait and see. Mississippi State has the air raid offense. Now they throw the ball 70% of the time. When the offense has the ball, Mississippi State throws the ball 70% of the time. They attempt almost 50 passing attempts per game, and they run the ball a little over 22 times a game. And that kind of sounds like Tennessee's offense, but it's kind of a different deal. It's a different kind of, they run a different kind of spread, different kind of formations and things like that. So it's not really a Tennessee type offense, but it's the now famous air raid offense developed by Hal Mummy in nearby Valdosta State some years ago, and he took it to Kentucky, and then some of his disciples like Mike Leach took it from there as well. Mississippi State is 6-3 on the season. They won last week, 39-33 over Auburn in overtime at Davis Wade Stadium, and Mississippi State. It's going to be a challenge. Hey, Miss Amber, how are you? Good to have you joining us tonight. We're kind of warming up. I'm going through the pregame, warm ups here for this game tonight. So if Georgia wins tonight, they win the SEC East. All the drama is over. It's done. And Georgia can look forward to apparently playing LSU in the SEC championship game. So who would have thought that? at the beginning of the season. But apparently that's going to be it's going to be the case. Lewis Harrison says, I think Georgia will win. It'll be a good game, though. I think so, Lewis. How are you doing up in Augusta? Probably a little chilly maybe in Augusta tonight. Amber says, get them dogs. Yeah, Mississippi State, of course. They're the Bulldogs as well. Let's see. If you're going to watch the game on ESPN, you'll have Sean McDonough doing the play-by-play. Sean does a great job. Sean McDonough is one of my favorite play-by-play announcers. He'll do a good job. And Todd Blackledge, um, he does a great job as an analyst. I'm watching something. Yeah, I see that. And then you have Molly McGrath on the sideline. So that's kind of like the A team for ESPN. So you don't want any drama. You want everything really good and cool. You want Georgia to come out, take control of the game, dominate immediately, and then go from there. And so that's what you're wanting. Anderson, South Carolina. Hey, yes, Miss Amber from Anderson, South Carolina. Have I ever talked to Kirby Smart face to face? We have had the opportunity to talk to Kirby, and he's quite an intense guy, but he's a good guy. He's football. He's the University of Georgia too. But he has a good sense of humor. He's very intense, very intense. Kirby's just, he's a different kind of guy. All football coaches are unique, obviously, but Kirby is he's all football for the University of Georgia. A great recruiter, and he's underrated as a coach, in-game coach. He's kind of grown in the years that he's been at the University of Georgia. He's a good guy, and he's all University of Georgia. Jason checking in from Horseheads, New York. Wonder what the temperature is in Horseheads, New York. Wonder what the kind of, what is the background of that name? Horseheads, New York. It's kind of interesting. Good, Jason, glad to have you checking in with us. Let's see. We got a lot of guys checking in with us. We're getting ready for the game here. How you doing, Janzi? Okay, is that right? Okay, good deal. Amber says my dog named Roman says so. Amber's dog has said go get him. I bet Roman would love to meet Juice. Juice is Lane Kiffin's dog. Lane, I don't know if it's cold and rainy. Jason says cold and rainy. So okay, up in Horseheads, New York. I live in Graniteville, South Carolina. Okay, yeah, I know where that is. Janzi, I'm doing good. How about you? Yep, doing good. So we got a lot of guys checking in with us tonight, especially our dear friend from the Philippines. And she will step in, check in with us on occasion. I'm trying to find where she checked in here. Wonder what oh, there it is. Let's see. Wonder what time of day it is in the Philippines. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a response from that. So just check in with us. I don't know what that is. Why did that come up all of a sudden? See what we have. I live with Nick Chubb. Okay. Seriously? Okay. Jason says, go dogs. Gulf Breeze, Florida. Well, Jason, I hope you didn't have too much trouble from the, what was it, Nicole? Yeah, Nicole, the tropical depression that came through, or Ian. Hope you were able to survive that. Let's see who we got here. We've got Teresa, go dogs, Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. We got a lot of Florida dogs checking in with us tonight. What we do around here at the Hull House and what we try to do, and it's kind of hard to sync the video with the audio, but Sean McDonough and that crew, they'll do a good job with the game tonight. They're not, Gary Danielson, you don't have to listen. I'm not a big anti Gary Danielson guy, but I prefer Todd Blackledge. But you can turn down the sound from your television feed and turn up the radio call of Scott Howard and Eric Zier and DJ Shockley. And that's the radio crew for the University of Georgia. So what is your prediction tonight? Now, mine's 34-14. I picked Georgia 34-14. I think we're fairly good as far as injuries are concerned. Gary loves Alabama too much. I tend to agree with you on that. Let's see what Ole Miss has the ball and they're driving. They're at the Alabama whatever, and they're driving on our feed it's 6 minutes 37 seconds left to go. So if Alabama beats Ole Miss, then LSU is in the SEC championship game. They are the champions of the SEC Eastern Division. If Georgia beats Mississippi State, Georgia is in the SEC championship game. And Georgia still, even if, God forbid, something happens and Georgia does not win, Georgia can still clinch with a win over Oklahoma. Listen, what is that about? Kentucky. And Kentucky got beat by Vanderbilt today. Now, Vanderbilt is my second most favorite SEC team. Some time ago, there were these guys who say, we need to get rid of Vanderbilt. They're not good enough to be in the SEC. I beg your pardon. Go for it, Vanderbilt. I'm with Vanderbilt. Lewis says it's going to be 42-18, Georgia winning over Mississippi State. Let's see. Amber says Georgia's going to win by 30 points. Okay. Miss Holly checking in. Go Dogs, woof, woof. And guys, we were in the stadium last week for the Georgia-Tennessee game. And that truly was amazing. That 139 decibels, in the stadium at one time, a record. And that was simply amazing. That will not be matched tonight in Starkville. I can guarantee you that. But that was an amazing atmosphere. Janzi says Georgia will win. Let's see. We got a lot of guys checking in with us. Barry Watkins, go Dogs, as well. Let's see. We got some predictions outside our East. As I think if we play like we did against Tennessee, it'll be 69-7. Okay, then. Well, Tennessee put 66 points up on Missouri today. Missouri kind of hung tough for a while. And then Tennessee, kind of got rolling and that kind of thing. And Tennessee, it was mentioned a couple of times in the broadcast. Tennessee is really wanting Georgia again. And so does Oregon. By the way, in the college football playoff rankings, just to remind you, Georgia's number 1, Ohio State number 2, Michigan 3, TCU 4. Now, TCU has a tough game tonight against Texas. And there are a lot of folks who are saying that TCU is going to go down tonight against Texas. Hey, Russell, my good buddy of ours, Russell Guess. Good to have you checking in with us. And let's see, what are we? We're about 10 minutes away from game time in Starkville, Mississippi, and it's rainy and cold. And so let's see. Any other updates from what we got? Okay, we got Alabama 27, Ole Miss 24. Alabama has the ball, fourth quarter. 3rd and 6 is our feed. Your feed may be different, but our feed is there. And, Stetson Bennett had a great game against Tennessee, obviously. And, we've been doing some research. And you hear all of these, these Heisman, these quarterbacks touted for the Heisman Trophy. Did you know that Stetson Bennett statistically is right there with Hendon Hooker and all of these, quarterbacks, top-rated quarterbacks, so they talk Heisman. Stetson Bennett is right there. You can check it out. Statistically, last week, Stetson finished 17 of 25 for 257 yards, had 2 touchdowns and no turnovers. And I guess you heard about the fact that Stetson Bennett got 600 to 700 calls from Tennessee fans on his cell phone the night before. the Tennessee game, and he cut it off. And, he threw the first touchdown pass and he did the thing with the phone sign, which was better than any other sign he could have given to the Tennessee fans in the stadium. But Stetson Bennett, we think he's going to have a good night tonight. I feel like Georgia's going to win. I hope they take control of the game immediately. Mississippi State will be a challenge to the defense, but Georgia's defense played tremendously last week, and I think Georgia's going to take care of business tonight. Going to spank the puppies. All right, we agree with that. And let's see, let's go. And we got to vote for Bennett for Heisman. Stetson Bennett. By the way, the top 6 teams in the college football playoff rankings: Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, Tennessee, and Oregon. Of the top 6 teams in the college football rankings, those top 6 teams, there's only 2 losses. Only 2 losses out of the top 6 teams in the college football rankings. Tennessee and Oregon have 1 loss apiece, and guess who beat them? What was it, 52-2 or something like that? Or something, similar to that. Of the top 6 teams in the college football rankings, of the top 6 teams, there's only 2 losses among those teams, and Georgia is the team that gave Tennessee and Oregon those 2 losses. Pretty good. Georgia deserves to be number 1. McElhenney, Florida. Hey, Miss Ponda, how are you? Go get them. We got a lot of Florida dogs checking in with us. A lot of dogs down in Florida. So we're about 8 minutes away from kickoff here. And we are getting reports from Starkville that our guys are ready to roll and ready to go. Russell says a little chilly in Starkville tonight. Yeah. We've been watching the Alabama and Ole Miss game at Oxford, and it's chilly there. And so Starkville, as you look at Mississippi, it's on down a little more south of Oxford. And by the way, they keep saying, do they fly the blimp anymore? The Goodyear blimp? It was not in Athens for the Tennessee game, and they talk about the Goodyear blimp and that kind of thing. I guess it's all drone stuff now. But I didn't see that in Athens. I don't know if they fly the Goodyear blimp or anymore. How do you feel about how Bennett has been playing? I think he's been playing great. I think Stetson Bennett has absolutely been playing great. He's Stetson loves the big games, and that was a big game last week. And he's cool and calm. And listen, this football team loves Stetson Bennett. Offensively, defensively, this entire team, Stetson Bennett is the man. He is the leader. And this football team loves Stetson Bennett. And, you can't, every now and then he'll throw something he shouldn't have thrown, but that's every quarterback. Bryce Young does that. He's the unmitigated, I guess, the unqualified leader of the Georgia football team. So, Georgia went to Missouri, okay? And Missouri, the crowd was there. And I tell you, Missouri's not a bad football team. And they really played Georgia tough in Columbia, Missouri earlier in the year. So what you want to see and out of Georgia against Mississippi State, just come out, just be that machine. The machine-like offense that was against Tennessee and against Oregon. Just be the machine. And that defense that is so dominant, just dominate, keep all of those Mississippi State receivers in front of you, limit what they can do. And, just be the machine. And let's take this thing and help us all to relax. Bryce Young is bad. Well, I wouldn't describe Bryce Young as bad. He's a talented quarterback. He's a talented quarterback. And as I watched Alabama, play like Ole Miss tonight, Alabama looks very much like an average football team. Alabama does not look Alabama-like, in the past. Alabama looks very much like just, a very good team, but not the exceptional Alabama-like teams that we are used to. Ole Miss is taking it to them. Let's see. Reichert has come in on our feed to try a field goal that will put Alabama up by 6 and it's good with about 2 minutes left to go. So, all right, guys, 5 minutes to kick off for the University of Georgia. We're going to get out of here, and we'll be back with you at halftime now. So join us at halftime. We'll get your opinion. Hey, Miss Shirley from Livonia, Georgia. Know where that is? Very much so. So join us at halftime. Chris Hall here for Dogs on Demand on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. By the way, be sure to check us out on YouTube and subscribe there. You can find our podcast. We had a great podcast this week. With Tim Worley, All-American, played back in the 80s for the University of Georgia, All-American, went on to the NFL. We had a good conversation with him this week. So check that out at our YouTube. Go to Dogs on Demand. You'll find all the information you need to find there about what we do. We cover all sports, football and all the sports for the University of Georgia. And we're sponsored by Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. Southeast Mortgage. We love those guys. They support us. We appreciate them so much. And so when it comes time for you to finance or refinance your home, check it out. Southeast Mortgage, the official home loan lender of the Georgia Bulldogs. All right, we'll be back with you here at halftime. Until then, Chris Hall for Dogs on Demand. Go Dogs.